What you might hear on the Dad Podcast can be considered offensive. We have explicit content. You have been warned. Proceed with caution.
Titties!
You're listening to the Dad Podcast.
Let's get started.
Fuck those little kids.
Cause I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. My problems have all gone. There's no one to deride me. But you gotta have friends.
Stop singing! Well, it's no wonder you don't have any friends.
Well, here we go, everybody. Alone again. These last 2 weeks, it's been a crazy time for me. This has been pretty busy. Obviously, haven't posted in a couple weeks. Feel bad about that. I did have, I'm just going to say, I had some of the best content ever recorded. Probably not really that good. And somehow my stumbly bumbliness, I deleted everything. So I wasn't able to send out an episode in the past couple weeks. I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago. I got to go to Vegas with Dan, Tana, and my wife. Tana is Dan's wife. It was a great time. I had a lot of fun. I actually brought a couple wireless mics. Girth Brooks, talked about getting a little bit of content while we're there. Things happened and never got recorded, which is fine. I mean, we focus on much other things in Vegas than this. Besides the drinking and gambling, I don't really have a bucket list per se, but I was able to cross something off of my imaginary bucket list if I was to have one. And that would be to see a magician live in Vegas. And I got to see one of the greatest, if not the greatest. I got to see Criss Angel live, not only for the show, but up close and personal. He didn't escape illusion and ended up in the crowd, one chair in front of me, which was pretty cool. Love the show. It was great. Would even go back again. I don't feel that Girth liked it as much as I did. I think he was a little disappointed. But, whatever. Teach their own. I loved it. Thought it was great. Also got to see Blue Man Group while I was down there, which was hilarious. I loved it. Would see them again, too. It's actually one, I think Blue Man Group's a good one. You can even take your kids to. There are obviously shows in Vegas you cannot take kids to, but Blue Man Group was pretty good. It was funny. I felt I came out on top. My wife and I, we took $500 down there, planning on only spending that while gambling. Obviously, we were not thinking big. I mean, going down there for 4 days, 3 nights, $500 isn't going to last 4 hours. Luckily we won. We were up some, then down some, then up some again, then down some, then up big, then down. Overall, we came out on top. Went down with 500, came back with 575. What? Yeah, big winners, huh? $75 on top. Take that, Vegas. Who's your daddy now? But besides gambling, we had fun. I'm a big people watching person, so it was awesome to just be around there. Malls, airports, the Vegas Strip, great for people watching. You see a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities, a lot of different interactions, which is great. My wife and I, most of the time, sometimes even my kids, we're big walking people. So like when we go to Vegas, I think this time we stayed 3 miles from the Strip, so we would Uber, and to me, I call everything Uber. Uber is Uber, taxi, Lyft, whatever, to the Strip. And then we would just spend all day from 9 in the morning till whatever time we go back, 1 in the morning, 1 the next morning, whatever, walking up and down. I mean, if we weren't sitting and gambling or eating, we were walking up and down the Strip, seeing things. It was awesome. I decided this year I am going to start a new collection. I don't know if many of you know, I don't talk about it ever. I very seldom bring this up, but I'm a movie lover. I collect movies. Got many, many, many movies. Probably close to 1,000 digital copies, 600 DVDs, 300 Blu-rays. Most of them not duplicates. I try to, if I have it on Blu-ray or DVD, I don't really try to get it on digital copy. Some of them are. I think Goonies, I have it on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and digital because that's one of the greatest movies of all time. But I also collect ball caps, trucker hats, that kind of stuff. I like wearing different hats. I don't have one yet, but I will soon have a propeller beanie, and I will wear that thing. Maybe even an umbrella hat. Haven't decided yet. Might be a good golfing hat. I decided to start a new collection this year. I did a little research. There is 31 casinos in Vegas, and I've decided that I want to collect a deck of cards that they've actually used, because they sell those. After they use them, they clip the corner so you can't take them back in there and use them for each casino. And out of the 31, I have 7 right now. I do feel there's probably going to be more than 31 because 2 of the decks, one says the Pleasure Pit and one says O'Shea's, are actually, I don't know if they're smaller casinos inside the bigger casino or if it's just an area in there, but Pleasure Pit is inside Planet Hollywood Casino and O'Shea's is inside the Link Casino. So hopefully I can find someone that actually say Planet Hollywood and the Link instead of just O'Shea's and Pleasure Pit. But either way, minimum 31 decks. And then I'll find somebody to display them or somewhere to put them or what. But I don't know. It's kind of cool, I think, to me at least. Collect those cards. New style of collection for me. But yeah, I mean, so we went to Vegas, like I said, saw Chris Angel, saw Blue Man Group. And that was 2 weeks ago. Last week, I got to thank you to my wife's very generous boss. I got to see 2 of my favorite bands from the 80s in concert, which was awesome. At least to me, it was awesome. Definitely another kind of bucket list, as I do air quotes, kind of thing to check off. I got to see Journey and Toto in concert. As far as Journey goes, it wasn't the greatest, but I also feel that it was our seats. Our seats were kind of crappy. Most of the show, I was looking at the singers' behinds. Whatever, they were free. I can't complain. And also, it wasn't obviously the Journey we grew up with in the 80s. They have a new lead singer. Steve Perry in the past had a bone disease, wasn't able to go on. They picked up somebody else. They picked up somebody else in 2007. So for the past 16 years, they've had this guy. And in my mind, I knew that. But when I see this person come out and sing, I'm like, why do they have a 20-year-old Asian boy up there? I hear him sing. I was like, okay. His voice is very similar to Steve Perry's. It was pretty good. He did really good sounding like that. But I'm still like, okay, you got this guy looks 60, 70. This guy looks 60, 70s. This guy's late 50s, 60s, whatever. Why you got this 20-year-old kid? Come to find out, he's actually a 58, I believe, 55 to 58-year-old Filipino man. Looked nothing like it. Obviously, probably all his nonstop jumping. I mean, this guy had more energy than my 12-year-old son all over the stage, the whole concert. And Journey was up there for a good hour and a half, hour and 45. And he just was nonstop moving. A lot of energy. I don't have that much energy. But it was awesome. And for him to be hopping around like he's Tigger, the T.I. double grrr, little tops made out of rubbers, bottoms made out of spring, just bouncing and flouncing all over the place, and still sing, that is awesome. It was a really good show. I do have to say, though, that out of the 2, Toto was my favorite. It was great. And I was hoping, I even told my wife, I was like, I really hope they play at least this one song I really want them to play. And no, it's not Africa. I mean, I love Africa. Obviously, that's what they're huge for. Africa, Toe the Line, Rosanna. They played all those. But this one is off their first album, and it is a song I love. And I don't know, again, how many people even know it. But if you don't know it, you should check it out. I like it. You might not like it. You might like it. It's called Georgie Porgy. Check it out. It was awesome. Toto was a great concert. Definitely worth seeing. If you guys ever get a chance to see Toto and Journey, take it. It's awesome. It was good. Especially if you're closer to my age and you know the songs, you know the bands. So worth it. Something that was pretty cool that we found out. Let me see if I get this right. So the lead singer for Toto, his son just got married to the piano player for Journey, his daughter. So Toto and Journey are now in-laws. They're family. I'm sure over the years, obviously, they're both, huge bands from the 80s. They probably toured before. They're probably pretty much family before then. But now they are literally family. Let's talk about family. I feel that, You know, everybody who works has two families. You've got your home family, you've got your work family. You've got the mom and dad of the company, you got the kids, the brothers, the sisters, the everything. It's literally just like your home family. Other than hopefully you're not sleeping with any of them. But you fight, you argue, you get sick of people. Sometimes you want to run away from home. Have you ever just hated your work family? Because right now I am at that point in my life. And I don't know if it's because I'm old or what. I just can't stand my work family. They drive me bonkers. They all feel that they're right. Everything has to be done their way, instead of actually listening to the people in charge and doing things the proper way. It just causes problems. Now, the biggest problem is, not only am I the dad at home, I'm the dad at work. I am the one that is there to be in charge, I guess. You know, lack of something better to say. Literally, it goes the owner of the company than me as far as the pecking order, but I feel like I am more of a dad at work than I am at home. I have to treat the people at work more like my kids than I do my own kids. I've come this close to putting one of them over my knee and just beating his little butt multiple times. Drives me crazy, the stuff they do. But in their mind, because they don't like it, they don't have to do it. When did this become a thing? Like when did we stop treating work like work? When do we come to work and be like, look, I don't like the way you're doing things, so I'm not going to do it that way, and that's how it's going to go. And that was okay. I don't get it. I mean, I've been working for a long time. You know, many years. It's always been what the boss says goes. That's how it works. That's how a job works. That's why you have a boss. You have an owner. You have somebody who's managing and telling you how things go. When did we decide we don't have to listen to them? It drives me crazy. It like literally, I don't like anybody I work with right now. I just don't even want to be around them. I don't know why it's so hard to listen and understand and just do things the proper way, but it seems to be. And it's kind of crazy because, you know, obviously I still stick around. I still work. I used to like people. Is it because I'm getting old? I'm becoming, you know, freaking Clint Eastwood in all of his movies now, just sitting in the front yard and just hating everybody. Like, I love being around people. I love having fun. But I don't have fun with my work family. And I used to. And I don't know if it's just that I've aged and they haven't, which obviously I know a lot of them have not aged or grown up or done anything. Or is it that I have changed, not just aged, but I've just changed completely? I don't know. All I know is, you know, I go to work in a good mood, and about 2 hours in, I want to stab everybody in the face with a dull spoon. I really don't understand why. And it's not like I have, how do I put this? I don't have the worst job in the world. I mean, you know, I run an office in a warehouse for a moving and furniture company. And I mean, physically there's a lot to do, and mentally there's a lot to do, but it's not horrible. I just some days wake up and be like, I just want to call in. I want to call in dead and just don't show up anymore. Actually, you know, I just want to win the lottery and do my own thing. I'm tired of making money for other people. I want to make money for myself. And I need all of you to help me out in winning the lottery. Let's do this. Let's win me the lottery. Okay? I mean, I'll pay you all back by keep doing podcasts and you can still hear me. But let's win me the lottery. Let's move on to a new topic now. Let's talk about dreams. I don't know if any of you were lucky enough, hopefully you were, to be able to fulfill, live out your dreams from when you were a kid. Dream job, you know, dream life, whatever it was for you. I know growing up, you know, when I was young, actually all the way up through graduating high school, I wanted to be an artist. I love to draw. Not so good at painting, but I like to draw. It's always been, you know, a love of mine, a joy is to draw. And I've kind of lost that, not the love of it or the joy of it, but the time, I guess, with family and stuff to be able to just sit down and give time for myself to draw. But I did love it. And, that was always one of my dreams, growing up, was to be an artist. For a while, I wanted to be an animator with Disney. Then after high school, I moved into architect because, again, I love to draw and I was always good at math. Put two and two together, boom, you have an architect. Till I found out that they have to go to school as long as a doctor, Van Wilder style. I really didn't want to go to school for 9 years. I should have. Shit. I could have been an architect by now. Graduated high school in 97. Let's see. So I could have been a doctor double over doctor, or architect. But things changed. Was in school in Moscow for a while, and I studied to be a paramedic, EMT. I got as far as first responder. Found out you have to donate 200 hours or something like that before you even start getting paid. And then even when you do get paid, it's shit pay. I make more now than an EMT or a paramedic does, which is very sad. They should definitely be paid way higher than they are. I was like, okay, well, that's out. There was also the time I wanted to be a singer. I mean, I did choir in high school. I enjoy singing. I love singing along with my music. I personally don't think I have the voice for a singer, which is fine. Whatever. It'd be awesome to be on a radio show. I used to love listening to Casey Kasem, Dr. Demento, stuff like that back in the day. That would be fun. That was always joyful for me. I would love to have done that. Kind of going out of style now. I don't know how many people even listen to local radio anymore, which is kind of sad. Along those lines, my new goal, obviously I've said it a couple times, I want to podcast. I want to help people podcast. I want to produce other people's podcasts. I want to make more podcasts for myself. I want to have a local merch store instead of just online. Which, come on, people, you're killing me here. Go check it out. Type in I listen 15. You get 15% off your order. Do I need to up that? Do I need to take it a little up? Let's go 20%. I'll make a new code tonight. So check it out. I listen 20. How about that, huh? You get 20% off your entire order. Let's do this. Go buy my merch. Yeah. So my goal, my new dream is to turn this into my last career, my last job. I want to be able to do this. I want to have an office with some studios, and I want to do this. I enjoy doing this. I want to make multiple different ones, which, by the way, I'm getting closer and closer to getting Southside Matt and his wife Colleen to get moving on our Neighbor Movie Night podcast. We're going to start off once a month, which works. That's fine. So listen in. I will let you guys know when that first one's going to drop. We're all big movie fans, so we're going to discuss movies. Discuss movies we like. I think one topic was brought up. What was your sexual awakening movie? I like stuff like, who's your most favorite villain? What do you think is a great movie villain? Which that's actually, when you think about it, I've been trying to stir up some notes. That's a hard one to figure out. I've got, a good top 5. On the other hand, you can go favorite, I don't want to say superhero, but good guy, whatever. But I'll let you know when that's coming out. I'm sure some of you have heard, I was doing one with my kids. I had high hopes for that one. We called it My Kids Think They're Smarter Than Me. We get on, we talk about things, what's going on nowadays. We do some quizzes, that kind of stuff. But they kind of fell out of interest, which, happens with kids. I mean, they're 14 and 12. I get it. They're attention fans like that of a freaking dog with a squirrel running by. Whatever. Maybe one day I can bring that back out. But yeah, this is something I love, something I'm passionate about. I really do hate when I miss episodes. It does hurt me to not record for you guys, and I thank you all for listening. I'm so happy that I have so many, and that still slowly seems to kind of grow or stick around. Hopefully I'm not losing any of you with just me instead of the group. I prefer the group. I think a better conversation than I have with myself. Anyways, that's my new dream. My son dreams of being in the NFL. I am a realist as far as I do tell him, look, buddy, I think 1% of people actually make it to the NFL. But I also tell him if you want it bad enough and you work your butt off and you try, you can achieve anything. So I will help continue to push him. I will support him in the way I can to hopefully get that goal. My daughter, Alyssa, she loves taking pictures. She loves photography. I don't know if that's her goal, her dream, but I'll support that too. I also do enjoy taking pictures. My wife gets annoyed by it. I take a lot. This last trip to Vegas, I really didn't take many, crazy enough, because a few months prior when we went to Mexico, I think I took 685 photos. But the way I see it is sometimes you got to take a lot, and then you pick the best one out of those. That's whatever. I take a lot of photos. I prepare myself for it. I do have a very nice camera I got from my mom, because my mom is a photographer. She's a dumbass photographer who does a lot of jobs for free, which she needs to stop that shit, but that's a different story. But I got a nice camera from her. I don't travel with it. It's pretty big and bulky, and I am not your typical tourist who's going to carry a big camera around my neck as I'm going places. So for the most part, I use my phone. I do, right before I'm going on a trip, I'll clean off my phone, make sure I have enough memory space for my ridiculous amount of photos I take. But yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know if I'd say, it's a passion. It's a joy of mine to do that. I don't know if I'd say it's a dream. I don't want to be a photographer. I only like taking pictures of sceneries. So I have some really cool ones. At least I think they're cool. I took the water drops on a leaf. Tonight we went on a 12-mile bike ride, my wife, my daughter, and I had to pull over and stop because the way the sunlight was breaking through the clouds was really cool to see the rays coming down. It was pretty awesome. I take stuff like that. I don't take people pictures. I'm not a wedding photographer. I'm not a senior pictures. I barely take pictures of my own kids, and that's usually when they're doing something goofy. I avoid people as far as my picture taking goes. Once in a while on our trips, I'll get group pictures of us friends, but I'd leave a lot of that to Dan. Dan's good at that. He can do that part. On to movies. Besides my hopefully soon to come out, and I keep talking about it, but my soon to come out movie podcast. I've been watching some new movies lately. I watched the new Avatar. Again, it was good. It's definitely not as good as the first. Not that either one of them are like, ooh, I love the Avatar. They're great. I know they did big, but I don't know. They're all right. They're good for a one time, or if you watch it more than once, it's like a once in a while. Like, I think I've seen the first one once, and that was when it first came out, and I haven't seen it since. I watched the second one 2 nights ago. Sometime when I'm bored, I might put on the first one, clean the garage and just have it on here and watch it again. I don't know. Recently watched Creed 3, which to me is Rocky, 9? 8? Rocky 8? It's the same. It's funny because it is just Rocky 6. So yeah, Rocky 9. It's Rocky's story, but with Creed's son. So it's New Age Rocky. But because Rocky was his trainer in the first 2, I want to say, I call this Rocky 9. Anyways, it was good. It was all right. Again, not my favorite. They're definitely not as good as Rocky, but they're worth a watch. On to the superhero movies. The new Shazam, awesome, funny, loved it. And I tried watching, and I say tried because I like to be an idiot and start movies late at night, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then I fall asleep on the couch watching them. The new Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I started watching that last night, fell asleep, need to watch it again so I get the whole movie in. But yeah, all good movies. I haven't got I don't know if I've talked about it much. Edwards Theaters, which are around here, they have an unlimited movie pass. There's 3 different options, but I think it's between $18 and $25 a month, and you get to go to the movies as much as you want, whenever you want. No blackout dates, no blackout times. You just go in, and that's awesome for me because I love the movies. So I'm going to get that. use that. There's a lot of movies coming out I want to see. Number one being Bert Kreischer, my favorite comedian. He's got a movie coming out called The Machine. I'm excited to see that. I will watch that in theaters. I will buy that as soon as it comes out, and I'll watch it multiple times. Which, again, I'm going to brag again here in a couple of months. I get to go see him for a second time. It's going to be awesome, and I'm excited for that. I've had talks with, back onto the podcast thing, I've had talks with Chase, who's been on here a few times. It's always a joy having him on. Chase and Josh and Girth Brooks. I always feel those are pretty good conversations. There's a lot to talk between the four of us. Him and I were discussing maybe doing a sports themed one podcast. We pull that off. That's gonna be 3 podcasts I'm gonna be doing. We'll see how that goes. I love sports. He loves sports. Sometimes we ramble on to sports, and Dan gets kind of bored and out of the way. But I love all sports. Okay, I talk shit about baseball, tennis, and basketball because to me, those are the boring sports to watch. Not to play, but to watch. I like full contact sports, obviously. They're my favorite. Rugby, football, hockey, soccer. Even though soccer's not full contact. Turns out to be that way. UFC, that kind of stuff. I just like sports. I like to watch them. I like to play them. I like to go them, live. It's fun for me. There's that. Hopefully that comes around sometime soon. I was also talking with Chase. Hopefully I can get him on here twice a month instead of once a month. That'd be awesome. Cuts back on my alone time because I really don't feel these are the top of the line episodes I want to put out when I'm alone. But it is what it is. I'd like to start having some more guests on here. So, I've got plenty of friends that I've grown up with over the years that I've been trying to get on here, and eventually I will. I don't know if any are listeners, but I would love to have a very, very good friend of mine growing up. We kind of fallen apart and not necessarily like mad at each other, just family and life. We haven't seen each other in a long time, but Randy Johnson, really good friend of mine. We were pretty much inseparable from 4th grade through graduation. Then through marriages, moving, school, that kind of stuff, we kind of grew apart. But I would love to have him on here. He's a boring politician type guy, but we could have some fun. My buddy Andy Mockley, went to school with him up in Moscow at U of I. Great guy. Would be fun to talk to. Love to get him on here. Or how about my brother-in-law Sean? I've talked to him a couple times. We've called him up. I've talked about him. I need to get his ass on here. Get him drinking. That'll get him talking. All these, different people. Eventually I'll get my brothers back on here again. Probably won't be till August when we do the Shenanigans and Tomfoolery. The next, what's my dad call it? Man camp. It's us guys getting together and we go golf for a weekend and camp out. That'll probably be the next time I get them on here, but they're always good for a good chuckle. Yeah, it's moving along, Started off with Tyler, Matt, which I don't even know if he made the first episode because we had some previous recordings that we did, and when Matt was supposed to be on it, and I don't know if we got those aired, but this started 3.5 years ago with Tyler, Matt, and I discussing sushi. We used to go to sushi every Monday night. We'd do sushi and beers, and we this idea came up, and we started talking. We wanted to do this. And then went on to Tyler, Marcus, and I. And Marcus was awesome. Again, another guy we worked with. And then he kind of fell off. Came back for an episode, fell off, which is fine. Again, life, kids, family, whatever. I would love to have just a second, you know what I mean? A second person. But I feel, if I get my sister on here once in a while, my brothers, Chase, the 4 of us, Josh, Chase, Dan, and I, we can do this. And we'll keep it going. It goes back to, me talking to my kids. Obviously, we live in different times now. I grew up in small towns, Jerome, Wendell. I think Jerome was the biggest one I think they had like 10,000 people. Wendell's where I did most of my high school with 2,000 people. I think Wendell is probably literally 2 square miles. I could bike around the whole town. And that's what I did. I walked or rode bikes. But I was telling my kids, they all have their little Facebook and their Instagram and their TikToks. And they like the old movies, Sandlot and all that kind of stuff that I show them, Stand By Me, that kind of stuff. And I try to tell them that's literally how life was as a kid. Like on a Saturday, you'd wake up, you get out there, you get on your BMX and you'd be gone. As soon as that sun was up and you were done eating your breakfast and watching your cartoons, you were out and you were gone all day until the streetlights came on and then you were home. And obviously times have changed. I'm in a huge, I say huge. I know many of you listeners live in way bigger cities than I live in. I think we're not even to 300,000 yet. Whatever. When you start with 2,000 and you're up to 300, that's huge, okay? That's a big jump. Anyways, I don't know. I'm hoping I'm not being too overprotective, but I don't let my kids just hop on their bikes and go all over Boise. I just don't feel as safe. And again, times are different. I miss the 80s and the 90s. Would love to go back. Would love my kids to see. I would love to actually. I've read this once. I would love to go back in time, drop my kids off in the 80s and see how they survive. See if they could cut it without their phones, their computers. Yeah, how would they make it? Would they just be sitting around, I'm bored, Could they cut it back then before all this technology? Honestly, I just don't know how many kids nowadays could cut it back then. I don't know how many of them could live without their technology. And I'm not going to lie, I'm hooked on mine. I've got, just right now, a computer going, my mixer board, my phone. I used to be until I got promoted at work on my phone at work a lot. Now I barely touch it at work. Talk to my family too much. Let's go back to family. My mom had, I'm probably not right. I'm sure my sister's going to call after she hears this and she's going to correct me. But I want to say my mom had 4 kids, 3 years. My sister and I were both born in the same year. Not twins. We're 10 months apart. I'm still really close with, and hopefully they feel this too, with all of my family. Well, I shouldn't say that. I talk to my dad the least. But I don't know. It's just weird. Talk to my mom. She annoys me. Hang up. Talk to her again. Annoys me. Hang up. Yeah, it's mom's. But I talk to my brothers and my sister every day. Well, sorry. I lied. My sister's going to call and correct me on that too. I talk to her probably out of us siblings the least. But it's not like I just don't want to talk to her. She's a teacher. She's busy. Lives in a different state. I never know when she's free. But her and I always have good conversations when we talk. A couple weeks ago, we had the episode where I had her on over the phone. I felt it went well. I talk to my brothers pretty much every day. And we grew up together. When we were out on the bikes, it was all together because we're so close in age. They were my friends growing up. I mean, I had my friends also, but it's almost like they were my friends too. And that's really cool. I feel bad for my kids because they're not quite the same. My wife was so spread out with her siblings. I want to say her youngest brother is 16 years younger than her. Her sister, I believe, is 6 years younger. Somewhere around there, I don't know. There's a good distance between her and her siblings. I don't feel they were as close or are as close as me and mine. I want my kids to be close. And again, I mean, they're not hugely spread apart. It's 17, 14, 12. But they're all at that age where it's just like, they don't have school on Fridays. I come home from school. Each one's in their own room doing their thing. Riley's on his online game, yelling at his friends and doing that crap. Alyssa's drawing and watching TV in her room. And I don't know what Carter does in his room. He waters his plants and feeds his lizards. Jigsaw puzzles. I don't know. Carter's Carter. But yeah, I just hope when they grow up that they stay in contact with their siblings, with each other. It's good to do that. You know, it's crazy. Things, at least I believe, things happen for a reason. Some things, you know, as you go through life, things change, all that. Recording this the other night, I was talking about dreams. Not giving up on your dreams. What dreams did you have as a kid? Supporting my kids' dreams, that kind of stuff. Tonight I went to a Broadway play with my wife. Obviously, it's here in Boise, so it's like Broadway in Boise. But it was Pretty Woman. And, Pretty Woman the musical. So it's a little bit different. I mean, the storyline's still the same, but there's some different stuff to it. And they sang a song that, I don't know, just got me thinking. And it could be just a coincidence, whatever. But one of the things in the song, the chorus line was, don't fight the dream, invite the dream. And I just agree. Why give up on your dreams? Live your dream. Do what you want to do. Going to a group I really like to listen to, Old Dominion, in one of their songs, it says, chase the dream, don't chase after the money. I feel so many of us are in it all for the money, and I get it. The money is what buys you the house. It buys you the toys. I'm not going to lie. I got a lot of toys, TVs, Xbox, side-by-side camper. I have that, and I do get it. I wanted that. And yes, I was always going for the money. Somewhere along the line, I forgot my dreams, I guess, and I don't mean that fully. Ask my wife. I'm a dreamer. I have big dreams all the time. But I don't always push for them. A lot of times I take no for an answer. And why? Why? So I just wanted to add that in there. I really do like that saying. Don't fight the dream, people. Invite the dream. If you get a chance, obviously here in Boise, go see some of the Broadway plays. They've been great. But I'm going to stop this one here. Going to go inside, maybe watch a movie. Maybe I can finish the Ant-Man. But yeah, thanks for listening. And I hope I haven't lost anybody with my ramblings. Anyways, thanks again for listening. And Dad Bod's out, bitches.